any member has a petition to present to the House, may please rise to do so. Any petition? Honorable Obaga.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Sylvester Obaga. I represent Abakaliki Federal Constituency from Ebonyi State. Speaker, I have 6 petitions here with me. One is from A.R. Esquire on behalf of Degema 3 Cluster Development Board against management of ATO Energy Resources Limited. They are praying the House that their rules and privileges have been denied benefits, and they ask the House to address the situation. The second one is from Honorable Stanley against Nigerian Army in case of ill treatment, unlawful dismissal at Biocoflex Nigeria Limited and hostels, also begging the House to look at their matter and let them be heard for them to be able to recover the land. Another one is the 6th one. It's Olajide Ibola on unlawful arrest of Okota police stations for malicious prosecution for conduct likely to cause breach of peace, intimidation, harassment, and threat to life. Also, appeal to the House to save their soul and then make them regain their freedom. Mr. Speaker, the Kai Commission may allay these petitions.
Please proceed and lay the petition. Any more petitions? None. Honorable colleagues will take matters of urgent public importance. First point of order will come from Honorable Eunice.
Right, Honorable Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I rise to move the motion that I have an issue that concerns and affects the most wanted issue regarding the power sector, and it is really affecting the desire of this government to really provide power to the nation, which also trying to deny us an access to about $800 million facility by the World Bank. That the matter is so urgent, and I move that our relevant rules, Order 8, Rule 4, and any other relevant rule to do that, to allow me to take it that the matter is important, and to allow me to take the matter today, Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Honorable Olamide.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Olamide. I rise to second The motion as ably moved by my honorable colleague, Honorable Eunice Aston, to be moved as to be treated as a matter of urgent importance. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Seconding the second limb of the motion. Let the matter be taken to the Honorable Sam.
Honorable Speaker, colleagues, I am Honorable Sam Hanikon, representing a tenant reform tribune, federal constituency, in common state of Accra. I rise to the second leg of the motion that will be taken today. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Yunus, you can now move your motion.
Right, Honorable Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I remain Abubakar Yunus Ahmad, representing Yamal Tudeba Federal Constituency of Gombe State. Transmission Company of Nigeria TCN Management and the future of the electric power sector reforms in Nigeria. The urgent need to facilitate swift action in the management of TCN through investigation. The House note that the TCN emerged from the defunct National Electric Power Authority (NEPA) as a product of the merger of the transmission and operation sectors on April 1st, 2004, and it is 100% federal government-owned company established pursuant to the Electric Power Sector Reform Act of 2005 to own and operate the 330 kV and 132 kV national transmission grid and transmit electricity from power stations to the distribution companies. Fortunately, and it should be commercially viable and market-driven company capable of evacuating the maximum capacity of generated energy from the generating companies to distribution and large-scale consumers throughout the country. Also note that the secondary goal was to reorganize TCN into two distinct units, system operation and management operation, able to operate as an independent system operation. Aware that the interim management director and CEO of TCN was appointed as immediate replacement for the reverted management consultants of TCN with a clear 3 to 6 month mandate with the primary assignment of overseeing the foreseen period of transition period. Concerned that there was negotiation between TCN and the World Bank of the sum of US $468 million IGA for the proposed Nigeria Electricity Transmission Project NETA, scheduled for August 29, 2017, which had to be postponed due to changes made to the staffing of the project management unit for the World Bank assisted project in the TCN. Further concerned that the reassignment of the PMU staff with less experience to TCN operations has substantially lessened PMU's overall experience of implementing World Bank assisted project, causing delays in achieving critical milestones as the PMU was originally managed by TCN interim general managers since 2006, who report directly to TCN managing director. But with the changes made, it is an assistant general manager now in place, managing the PMU. Disturbed that the World Bank is desirous to conclude agreement with TCN management on the final form of the project implementation manual, including the staffing of the PMU as soon as possible, as this will enable negotiation of NETA, the Nigeria Electricity Transmission Project, to be completed so that the IDA credit of 468 million US dollar for NETA project can be scheduled for approval by the World Bank Board approximately 7 weeks after negotiation. Melancholic that the World Bank are keen to have NETA project benefit from the ITA Scale-Up Facility, SUF, financing of 364 US million, the amount of which the management of World Bank has agreed to allocate to Nigeria above the country's regular IDA allocation from the limited IDA SUF envelope. Worried that due to the non-compliance of the interim management of the TCN to effect the changes as required by the World Bank has not only affected the future project, but may also impact negatively on the implementation of the ongoing project, i.e. the 300 million US dollar Nigeria Electricity and Gas Improvement Project, NEGIP, technical assistance activities in NEGIP to support the power sector recovery program. Mr. Speaker, I want the House to resolve, mandate the House Committee on Power to immediately investigate the interim management of TCN for the delay in the execution of the viable projects such as the NEGIP that will improve the power sector in Nigeria. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Second Honorable T.J. Yusuf.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. T.J. Yusuf, I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Yunus, you may now lead the debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, from the motion, it is vividly clear that the World Bank are desirous to help Nigeria get out of its power problem. And that is why we access the IDA fund of 468 million US dollar. There are conditions precedent to the drawing of such fund. Part of it is that they have a project management unit which was established since 2006 to carry out all World Bank assisted projects and funding. Now, when the new management of TCN comes in, all those personnel managing the PMU are at the level of general managers because of their prerequisite qualification. He effected changes and brought staff that are lesser in experience and qualification. The highest of it is just an assistant general manager. That the World Bank drew the attention of the management. They wrote a letter to the Ministry of Power, Honorable Commissioner, and drew all these corrections, and they made recommendations which were not followed, were not adhered to, which now forced them that we couldn't access this fund since August. As I'm talking to you now, the fund is not there. Again, the World Bank has even intimated that as soon as they conclude an arrangement, and if we fulfill the conditions to access the 468 million US dollar, they have already packaged additional 340-something million dollars to be assisted. They call it SUF fund that they wanted to give Nigeria. But I don't want to use the word nonchalant, but for some reason best known to them, and that's why I'm calling on this House to investigate, they refuse to adhere and to effect the changes as required by the World Bank. And the World Bank failed. If personnel below the rank of general managers are now allowed to man the fund, they fail. They don't want to give this, throwing the money into the garbage. For such, I want this House to really look into the issue, commence the investigation, and then let the needful be done. My honorable colleagues, when you aggregate the sum of about 460-something with another 300, you are talking about 800 million US dollars to be injected into the power sector, especially the gas plant for the jungle. And again, the TCN is supposed to improve their line so the power can be evacuated and be taken to destinations. For us to meet the 10,000 megawatt that has probably by 2020, I think the needful has to be done, and the decision has to start today. So, and let's do the needful. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so submit.
Honorable Khatun, please approach the chair. Any more contributors? Okay, I'll put the question. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Next point of order will come from Honorable Doye Diri.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Diri Doye, representing the very wonderful people of Yenagwa Kodokuma Obokuma Federal Constituency. The Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, I come under Order 8, Rule 4, on a motion and the need to intervene on the current conflict between the Minister of Finance and the suspended Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable colleagues.
Okay. Seconder, Honorable Sabe Vilita Bishop.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My respected colleagues, I am Asabe Vilita Bashir. I represent Chibok, Goza Damboa Federal Constituency. I come from Borno State. I rise to second the first leg of the motion ably moved by my honorable brother, Diri Doye. I so move. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Second limb of the motion. Honorable Kaita.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ahmed Baba Keita, representing Kenke Kuzalinga of Katsina State. My Speaker, I rise to second this second leg of the motion. I do second. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Doye, please move your motion.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. And my respected honorable colleagues. As I said earlier, it's a motion on the need for these hallowed chambers to intervene on the current conflict between the Minister of Finance and the suspended DG of the Securities and Exchange Commission. The House notes that the conflict between the Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, and the suspended Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Muni Guazo, over Oando's forensic audit and corruption allegations. The House still notes that the conflict has led to the suspension of the DG of SEC alongside the head legal department and head of media on the 29th of November 2017. It has also led to the setting up of an administrative panel of inquiry and appointment of an acting DG by the Minister of Finance. The House equally notes that the conflict has been allegedly lingering for several months between the Ministry of Finance and the Securities and Exchange Commission, but the matter of Oando disagreement brought it into the public domain. The House observes that there are allegations of interference by the Ministry of Finance in the discharge of the responsibility by SEC, particularly the Oando Forensic Audit matter, which has largely and is largely responsible for the suspension of the Director General. The House also observes that the intervention by the House will put the matter into proper perspective and amicable resolution of the conflicts. In order to protect the image of the Securities and Exchange Commission in the interest of both local and foreign investors. The House therefore resolves that the Committee on Capital Markets and Institutions should investigate all allegations and report back to the House within 2 weeks. And also that all the parties involved should maintain the status quo pending the outcome of the investigation by the House. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I so move.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Respected colleagues. My name is Obama Adrian. I represent the good people of Ezana, officially federal constituency. Mr. Speaker, from Ebonyi State, I rise to second the motion as moved by my colleague and friend, Honorable Doyedu. I so second. Thank you.
Honorable Doye, please lead the debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker and my colleagues, on Monday, 27th of November 2017, it was reported that the minister had a meeting with the suspended Director General in her own office, where she actually verbally directed the suspended DG to discontinue the forensic audit of Oando PLC. Mr. Speaker, I will not rise here to stand in support of corruption allegations, but Mr. Speaker, this is the hallowed chambers of the Nigerian people, and this is the chamber where everybody demands justice. And so, this motion is a straightforward motion. The suspended DG forensic audit, and by his own tone, that is what is leading to his own suspension. And Mr. Speaker, this matter is brought before this House. It has been widely published in all the media, and today, Mr. Speaker, we have the responsibility as a House to bring justice and to unravel the facts surrounding the suspension of the former DG. I urge my colleagues to speak in favor of this motion so that the truth will come out, the facts will emerge, and justice will be served. Thank you, honorable colleagues.
Honorable Toby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Toby Okechukwu. I represent an area of Boji River Federal Constituency. I'm from Enugu State. Mr. Speaker, during the 7th Assembly, you were part of those, including myself, that investigated the collapse of the capital market. You were part of the ad hoc committee that was raised by the 7th Assembly to investigate the collapse of the capital market. What we are hearing that is happening in SEC is symptomatic of the tendencies that happened then.
And when a regulator that regulates the capital market is subject to untidy management style, it raises a lot of questions. I wouldn't know the reason why a minister of the Republic will ask Security and Exchange Commission not to do its job. I wouldn't know why infractions will be swept under the carpet. Mr. Speaker, if you are equipped and knowledgeable about financial matters, you know that when you are looking for 1 kobo, when you are missing 1 kobo in your account, that is when you find billions. Nothing less than total inquiry. Nothing less than total inquiry of what is happening in SEC should be the subject of our investigation. It's not just the suspension of a DG. The Nigerian people will have to know why the infractions of Oando should be swept under the carpet. The Nigerian people would want to know why a DG who the minister alleges has paid himself severance allowance, why this should not be investigated. The circumstances and the things that are happening in SEC has serious consequences on the capital market. Before another collapse happens, we as members of parliament must take every action to avert it. So I support this motion in its entirety, but I will add further that a total status inquiry is needed in SEC to unravel the untidy issues and untidy circumstances we are hearing of. I so support.
Honorable Keita.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Ahmed Keita, representing Kenya Kusada, Ngao of the Senate. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise to equally lend my support to this all-important motion. Mr. Speaker, for the fact that our government came with the slogan, and indeed, not only the slogan, but it's implementing the change. This is the government that took the bull by the horn and disbanded the former scandal on import of petroleum and diesel into this country. And we cannot just, as a government, sit down and see our government for this motion and to call for a proper investigation into the matter of SEC. Mr. Speaker, it is curious that after Oando has gone to the court to challenge SEC on the investigation, and the court ruled against Oando that SEC has every right, legal right, to investigate this issue, and yet the minister can go to this extent and suspend this person. Another reason, Mr. Speaker, is that SEC is very sensitive and very important, both domestically and internationally. If infraction like this can be swept under the carpet, then we would certainly not have the confidence of investors from outside this country and inside this country. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I don't think there is any partisanship in this bill. We are working for Nigeria, and we should as well make sure that whatever we are doing, we do it in the light of this listen. 4 weeks ago, I supported a motion here in a matter similar to this between Intel Services and MPA, in which I stand here and said that, look, we have to investigate Intel and activities of Intel. And a lot of members were saying it's partisan. Today, I'm writing to say that we should investigate the SEC matter. It is very, very important because we already have a pending case similar to this one in which there were allegations. The allegations have not yet been substantiated and the person is on suspension. Nothing has been done. We cannot as a party afford to be doing what we accuse other party of doing. We should come up clean on these cases. We should rise up to this occasion and make sure that the right point is done. Mr. Speaker, the last point I want to raise is that should we allow this thing to go unchecked, or should we allow this?
Any more contribution? Honorable Karimi, Sunday.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My colleagues, my name is Karimi Sunday. I'm from Kogi State. I represent Yaba West, Yaba East, Mopamuru Federal Constituency. I want to thank my colleague for bringing up this issue. Mr. Speaker, the world needs to know whether we are really serious about fighting corruption. Are we fighting corruption against some people, or we are serious about fighting corruption? From the allegation and counter-allegation that is all over the media on this issue, there is an attempt by some high-placed government official to cover the fraud that is being investigated by SEC. And the DG of SEC was removed just because the man was trying to do his job. That is enough in corruption. So there is need for us to investigate this, and the government needs to show the world, are we really fighting corruption? Is corruption only for the opposition? Or we are just fighting corruption with lip service? This issue of SEC has to be investigated, and the DG of SEC has to be brought back on the seat. Thank you.
Any more contributors? So I put the question. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, the first business of the day is a motion to admit into the chamber Ms. Irinola Olaya Blessings and Mr. Abdul Salam Kamaldin. Standing in the name of the House Leader. Leader is now invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I rise to move for the admittance into the chamber and that the House, pursuant to Order 19, Rule 8, Sub-Rule 2 of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, do admit into the chamber Ms. Ariola Olaya Blessing and Mr. Abdul Salam Kamaldin in recognition of their outstanding academic performance and shared determination for success. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Seconder to the motion, Honorable Adaji Ezekiel.
Honorable Speaker, my colleagues, I'm Ezekiel Adaji. I'm from Benue State. I represent Igbo. Again, I stand to second this motion as moved by the leader. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Can they be ushered in? How will he come? Our honorable colleagues will move to the second order on our other paper so that we can dispose of this subject matter. And then we'll now go back to the main businesses of the day. In that order is a motion on parliamentary honor for exceptional young Nigerians, standing in the name of Honorable Femi Bajabiamila. The leader is now invited to move the motion.
Thank you once again, Mr. Speaker. This is a motion for the parliamentary honor for two exceptional young Nigerians. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the House notes that the 8th House of Representatives has demonstrated its commitment to reward excellence and encourage citizens who have elevated the ideals of the Nigerian society and various challenges confronting the country. The House also notes that the essence of nation-building contributions of the House is to invest resources into the meaningful activities that will help secure the future of our country and encourage attitudinal change to inspire the Nigerian youth. Yahya Blessing and Mr. Abdul Salam Kamaldeen have attained exceptional records in their chosen academic fields and displayed true spirit of resilience, hard work, and persistent courage. Also informed that Mr. Aniola Blessing, age 24, was admitted into Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Osun State, to study medicine and surgery in 2011. Scored an excellent cumulative grade point average of 4.74 in her first year, and subsequently in her second through to the 6th year scored distinctions in anatomy, medical biochemistry, physiology, distinctions in medical biochemistry and pharmacology, distinctions in pathology and pharmacology, distinctions in obstetrics and gynecology, distinctions in mental health and dermatology, and distinctions in surgery. An achievement that has been elusive for a period of 28 years in Obafemi Awolowo University and in Nigerian medicine and community health. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the House is further informed that Mr. Abdul Salam Kamaldeen, age 38, lost his 2 legs to polio at the tender age of 3, lost his mother at the age of 4, started primary school at the age of 8, resorted to street begging to raise money to buy school uniforms, books, and to feed. He begged for alms from primary through secondary schools and was known on the streets of Lagos as a beggar. He slept under the popular Idumota Bridge and other car parks for several years before saving enough money and gathering enough money from commuters and well-meaning Nigerians and caregivers alike to rent a room. The House is equally informed that from street begging, he bought his GCE form in 2002, sat and passed the GCE and JAMB examinations, and was subsequently admitted to study political science at the University of Lagos. The House again is informed that as he underwent his studies, I believe that is a typo here, and in his determination to become a lawyer, Mr. Kamaldeen passed the law school examination, studied law, and was later admitted to the Nigerian Law School in 2015. He was called to the Nigerian Bar on 30th of November 2016. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, this House resolves to present and commend Mr. Aniola Blessing to all Nigerians, home and abroad, for her exceptional academic feat. 2, the House also presents and commends Mr. Abdul Salam Kamaldeen to all Nigerians, home and abroad, for his strong determination and perseverance despite his lifetime challenges. And 3, the House resolves to establish by law a parliamentary honors award system for recognition of extraordinary achievements by Nigerians. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I so move.
Order, please.
Seconder, Honorable Betty Apiafi.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Betty Apiafi. I represent Abua Odoala, that is Federal Constituency, and from Rivers State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by the leader of the House and so seconded.
Leader, please lead the debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I once again thank you for this opportunity to bring to the consciousness of Nigerians two very, very outstanding Nigerians. I want to drive home the point, Mr. Speaker, that it is very rare for this House to allow those we describe in parliamentary language as strangers into the belly of our chambers. It is also equally rare to accord them recognition, commendation, and honor. But these two we have done for these two distinguished Nigerians. Mr. Speaker, you will recall that in March last year, 2016, we commended and recognized Mr. Ayodele Dada, a young graduate that shattered known academic records with his 5.0 cumulative grade point average. He has since completed the NYSC at the Central Bank of Nigeria, and because of the commendation of this House, he has received several job offers and is now on his way to study and continue and further his education outside the shores of the country with those jobs even waiting for him. Mr. Speaker, today I present to this House two Nigerians and to the whole world. Two incredible Nigerians who imbibe the true Nigerian spirit, the can-do spirit that we have in this country. Mr. Arinola Olaiya and Mr. Abdulsalam Kamaldeen, who have shown uncommon courage and determination to overcome all odds and be the best they can be. Each one of them, sitting right here to my left, they have a story to tell. Mr. Arinola Olaiya is 24 years old from Ekiti State, southern part of Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I read about this incredible young woman on the pages of newspaper like everybody else. This was about 8 weeks ago. And I immediately got my office to contact the Obafemi Awolowo University. And what is incredible about her story was that the university vice chancellor told my office that we needed to tarry a while. We needed to tarry a while simply because the feats that she had achieved was incredible to them. It hadn't been done in over 30 years. Each year they had graduated students, they had never seen anything like it. So they were not sure about the grades which had come from the faculty. So they had to check and double check. And finally gave confirmation that she actually achieved what she achieved. Mr. Speaker, Ms. Olaiya does not come from a wealthy family. She comes from very humble beginnings. But what has she done? Like the motion paper said, she has done so much and achieved so much in biochemistry, distinction in pharmacology, distinction in pathology, distinction in obstetrics. Mr. Speaker, she is a jack. She is a jack of all trades and a master of all. Ms. Olaiya comes from very humble beginnings, like I said, but with an uncommon zeal and sense of purpose. She has broken all records in the University of Obafemi Awolowo University. She is a role model and an inspiration to all of us. Mr. Speaker, not less compelling is the story of Abdul Rahman. I met Abdul Rahman through a magistrate who had come to Abuja a few weeks ago Mrs. Oshie. She spoke to me about this gentleman and said, please, I need you to have a word, a moment with him. Mr. Speaker, I went to Lagos, I contacted him, and I had more than a moment with him. I had several moments with him because his story was gripping. It was riveting, it was amazing, it was sad, as it was inspiring. Mr. Speaker, you and I know, like many others here, what it does, what it is to go through law school, even as able-bodied men. How much more a young man who actually has no limbs. We saw him when he came in, I was almost going to say when he walked in, but he actually crawled into the chambers, gliding on his knees. Mr. Speaker, he was afflicted with polio at age 3, became crippled, and lost his mother at 4. Like I said, he begged on the streets and slept in car parks. But yet he did not wallow in self-pity for the hand that life had dealt him. Instead, he navigated the contours of life to achieve what he has achieved today. He went through law school, and now he's a lawyer. He did not cross the Mediterranean. He worked and got what he wanted. His story could have been different, but it is not. Every day, Mr. Speaker, we celebrate the Messis, we celebrate the Messis and the Ronaldos for what they have done, the amazing things that they have done with their legs. Today, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, we celebrate a man for what he has been able to do without his legs. Today, we celebrate a man who has done amazing things. He has proven that you can be crippled, at the same time you can be able. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, when ordinary people, and when I say ordinary, I don't mean that in any condescending way. I mean it in the sense of the average man. When ordinary people do extraordinary things, we must celebrate them. And the world must rise in commendation, men and women of power and influence, and men and women of authority must rise and bow to them. In Nigeria, like every other country, we have the good, the bad, and the ugly. We hear about the bad every day, on a daily basis. We denounce the ugly all the time. Today, we celebrate the good. Today before us, we have a future senior advocate of Nigeria, perhaps even a Supreme Court jurist. A young lady who may, in future, and has the potential of discovering scientific and medical breakthroughs. Honorable colleagues, please join me as we rise in unison to celebrate our own good. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Young Pajok.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker, my name is Edward Pajok. I represent the south and east of Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, I join our leader in commending these very great Nigerians, in celebrating them. Mr. Speaker, of recent, even you had cause to travel out of Nigeria, and you also give a speech here where we are admonishing even the president and complaining about the fact that now there seems to be a cloud hanging over our country, where our young ones seem to be leaving Nigeria because of the despair and the despondency to travel abroad. But here we are, with the good example of some young Nigerians who, in spite of the environment in the country, have challenged themselves to rise up to their God-given potentials. Mr. Speaker, today is a proud, it's a good day for Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, I recall some months back at the University of Jos, when you challenged the students of the university, and you told them that some of the professors that have been celebrated all over the world, they don't have 2 heads, they don't have 4 eyes, they don't have those 2 brains, but if they have been able to excel, why wouldn't young Nigerians also do their very best to excel? Mr. Speaker, I thank the leader for ushering for setting in motion the process for ushering these young Nigerians, and to challenge other young Nigerians that if these two great Nigerians can do it, they too can do it. Mr. Speaker, I'll be a bit more selfish to single out my younger colleague, who is also a learned friend. Today, he's 38 years. Even though he was sleeping under the bridge in Lagos, even though he had polio, today he has been called to the Nigerian bar. We all know that it's not easy to be called to the Nigerian bar. Today I stand, even as a senior advocate, to challenge my young friend that one day he too can become a senior advocate. Because if he can do what he has done and be able to pass the bar exam at 38, no, today, no, he's a lawyer. Mr. Speaker, this young Nigerian, I see him one day rising to also become either a senior advocate if he chooses to remain in the bar. If he wants to go to the bench, he can also rise even to the Supreme Court. Mr. Speaker, I also see that there's also a gender balance. There's a lady who is also being celebrated. There's also a young man who is also being celebrated. Mr. Speaker, that speaks to even the young ladies in Nigeria. Tell them that they do not have to lose hope. They do not have to indulge in some immoral activities. They can rise up to be what God has destined them to be. Mr. Speaker, let me also appeal to the other young Nigerians that can do spirit can make them to be self-reliant. That we do not have to say, oh, my parents have not given me this, oh, my guardian has not given me this, oh, government has not given me this. On your own, you can do something, and God Almighty will also bless you. Look at this young Nigerian. He was even begging. It means he didn't resort to criminality. Some people will say, well, I must go and do armed robbery, I must go and be a pickpocket so that I can make money to either marry or to do this. But these Nigerians, they have done legitimate things. And that's why God Almighty has blessed them. So, Mr. Speaker, it's a good day for young Nigerians. Let us not challenge them. That's why this parliament has also, it's a youth-friendly parliament. That's why we passed a not too young to be in the legislature are with them. And we always support them so that they can achieve whatever God has laid in their hearts to achieve. So, Mr. Speaker, it's a great day. I must commend you for allowing them to hear so that we celebrate them and to show our youths that there is hope for the youth of Nigeria. I thank our young police and pray that God Almighty will allow them to reach the zenith of whatever chosen careers that they are choosing for themselves. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Lasso Yusuf. I represent Irepo-Odun, Oloruda, Orodu Osogbo Federal Constituency. I'm from the state of Osun. First and foremost, I thank the leader of the House. He's doing this for the second time. The first time was when he brought a young Nigerian who by that academic feat showed that he scored 8 exams at the University of Lagos. This morning again, we have 2 young Nigerians. Women at times, when they want to be brilliant, they will break all the barriers. So if you have a young woman passing through the referred Obafemi Awolowo University, I'm grateful. I attended University of Ife, not Obafemi Awolowo University. But it's still the same thing. With this kind of academic feat, we know we don't have any option than to celebrate them. And again, if we talk about Kamaluddin, then what the 2 of them have brought out this morning is that Nigeria still has hope. And that young Nigerians watching us now should know that the best way to go is to be hardworking so that success can come once through pass. I join the leader of the House for bringing to the floor of the House of Representatives today these 2 young Nigerians. And like he requested, I'm doing mine individually now, that I'm standing and I've risen to bow to your intellect, because it is no mean feat. For anybody that has passed through the school system, you will know what it means to come out with such feats by 2 young Nigerians like this. And again, it's a sign that our public schools are still working. That is where I'm coming to, because if I look at our educational sector today, I always describe it to people as a system, a sector that we no longer have committed teachers and willing students. But by what you have achieved in your own situations, that means we still have some committed teachers, and that throughout your academic career, at least up until this point, you are willing students who are ready to learn and who are ready to make a success out of what you have chosen for yourself. And so, honorable colleagues, I just do this because I feel there is that emotion in me when I see people who have gone through school system and have achieved what you have achieved. Because I know that I'm here today, and like every other Nigerians that are on the floor, we are here today talking to Nigerians and talking to the whole world, simply because, not because we are the best of the political sagacity, but because we are educated. And that means that the education and the academic field you have attained today can make you to go to anywhere in the world and shine. Particularly Nigerians are very good when they get the kind of education you have at home and you go abroad to go and complement it. I wish you well, and whatever you think we can do as a system, particularly the legislative houses, whatever you think we can do, whatever you think you have seen within the system where you are coming from and need some improvements, let us know, because the leader has done his own part by representing all of us. I mean the National Assembly, by bringing you forth to showcase you and to let Nigerians know that we can learn from what you have done. Because it is not your academic field that we are celebrating alone. We are celebrating your background, that we know that your background are humble. We are celebrating your hard work, and we are celebrating what we think you are likely to contribute to the development of Nigeria in future. So many things rolled into one. And I want you to take this one away from here today. Like he said at the beginning of his contribution, it is very, very rare to admit people into this chamber. This chamber is meant for some categorized set of people. The legislator and the admin staff of the National Assembly, and possibly the gentlemen of the press. But for you to be here this morning, Ms. Ariola, at the age of 24, as a medical doctor, is a very, very good thing for you to keep to yourself and to let you know that while you are busy doing what you are doing in Ife, you never knew that you are going to be accorded this kind of respect. And let me tell you, you might not be able to know how much this has done to your image today. I know starting from this hour, when you go out of this chamber, it's going to add more value to the values you have added to the Nigerian system. So, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Leader, once again, thank you very much for bringing these young Nigerians to us. We are proud of you. And I wish I can rewind the hand of the clock and go back to the University of Ife in those days and make this kind of result for me to be celebrated like we have been celebrated this morning. I envy you. But my own envy is not negative. It's emotional. It is a way of appreciating that you have done very well. Thank you very much.
So many members want to give this commendation. I think everything has been summarized. Just in order to go around to be fair to all the rows, I'll take one from here and one from here. But 2 minutes. Honorable Sunday and Honorable Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Sunday Adepoju, representing the Barakwa East and Ido Federal Constituency of Oyo State. I thank the leader and the previous speakers in respect of what they have said about the 2 girls we are having today. I'm going to deviate a bit from what they have said. I am very happy to read about your achievement, the record you have set for Nigerian youth. Millionaire or his mother, or they were professors. The name does not ring bell. That means they are from, the lady is from nowhere. If that be the case, what are we going to do to millions of Nigerians? Youth who have ability to score something like this that are wasting away. This lady has recorded something tangible. That's why we are celebrating her today. But there's a question for us. What is going to happen to this lady? Are we going to allow her, after going for further studies, to go and stay in America or London, to be used by the Western world, so that when tomorrow I am sick or Mr. Speaker is sick, or somebody, we now go there and seek medical attention? We have millions of them outside there. And the question is, how much are we budgeting for our health system so that the life of our Yola can come back after completing our further studies, so as to make Nigeria great? How much are we budgeting for our educational system so that the life of our Yola can excel, so that after what we celebrate her? These are questions for us. And like I said the other time, I have not read much about our parents, they are well to know. This goes like this. For me, I now say, great names are not only from the great houses. They are like morning sun, which rises from nowhere. A man, as an aspirant animal, need to be given all the encouragement and support, so that all the excellence that there in him shall not die with him. If not, it will be to the cement of society he belongs. We have a lot of people like this in our society. We need to support them. Those of us that are in position today, let us look at it and celebrate them and bring more and more and more of them. It should not be the children of the rich that will be excelling. We have to think about that. God will bless you. Then I go to the other man who had made us proud, to show that there is ability in disability. We have many of our boys and girls rolling in the street. They can do better. But the system is not good enough for them. We have seen best of our boys turn into area boys, turn into armed robbers, best of our ladies turn into adults and other social vices because of the environment we are operating. But this man, determined to achieve, we have to use him as a yardstick to encourage other people who are less privileged, who are in his position, to see that there's ability in disability. To make sure that those boys that we have as area boys, let us encourage them in our respective constituencies. The Okada riders, their children, let us encourage them. The Ghana sellers, let us encourage them, so that their children can do something. Not the children of the honorables, the children of the senators or ministers. I beg to let you know, if we didn't do well, a lot will befall our children. And you should know that those who are going to rule this country tomorrow, they are not likely to be from the children of those of us here today. They are not likely to be the children of the president or the minister. They are likely, 80% or 90%, are likely to be the children of the poor. Please, let us make environmental and encourage one. God will bless you and bless this nation. Thank you.
Johnson, please, 2 minutes.
Point of order.
Who is raising a point of order? Honorable Lam.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My name remains Ajeda Kolam Adeshino. I represent the very good people of Ibadan, Southeast and Northeast Federal Constituency. I'm from Oyo State. I'm also a youth. I believe that the motion that is being raised on this floor today has a lot to do with the Nigerian youth. And in my own opinion, a youth that is a member of this house should be allowed to speak. That's my point of motion.
that point, is that a point of order? In fact, I had earlier on considered that I would recognize one representative of the Young Parliamentarians Forum, but because of your intervention, I might change my mind. Honorable Johnson, I think Honorable Johnson is young enough now to represent the youth on the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and my distinguished colleagues. I am Honorable Johnson Aguahide Huma. I represent all the people of Ensako Federal Constituency, Edo State. Mr. Speaker, I am prompted to rise up this morning or this afternoon to contribute to this very august debate, a motion brought by the leader of the House. And I want to thank the leader of the House for bringing this motion and bringing these two young Nigerians before the House chambers. And to thank as many of us that have contributed. I want to say to Ms. Blessing that I thank God for your life, for the spirit He has given you. You have demonstrated distinction. And I pray that the spirit of excellence, God will grant it unto you. And also to my brother, Kamadin, what you have done, it is not strange. There are so many Nigerians that are able, that have gone through what you have gone through, and have even achieved almost the same feat. But what is unique about you is that just when you were coming in, I was watching and I saw you coming. I felt pain. I was almost getting out of my seat to get to you and assist you. So, Mr. Speaker, what is unique about Kamadin is that he's physically challenged. And we are in a chamber where the structure, the architectural design, and everything about this chamber is not disability friendly. So I am standing on my feet to please create the indulgence of every honorable member that is here, that you give me the opportunity to move a motion, very harmless motion, that these chambers be revisited and structural chambers. I move a motion that will make it disability friendly and appoint a sign interpreter so that when we are speaking, if we have a deaf honorable member, he will follow the debate on the floor of the House. So I so move. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I think the representative of the youth is Honorable Said Fijabi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Said Akani Fijabi. I'm representing the Southwest Northwest Federal Constituency of Oyo State. Mr. Speaker, thank you for being danger sensitive. We have male, female, and the young gender. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I'm speaking on behalf of the young parliamentarian of House of Representatives. Mr. Speaker, I will be very brief. Just to say a very good kudos to our leader for moving this motion and everybody that has spoken on the motion. And again, to my sister and brother sitting down there. I think on this same chamber, we've moved to very key and important motion about our people traveling abroad, crossing the Mediterranean Sea for greener pasture. And we can see good example of two male and female citizens of Nigeria who try as much as possible, not even thinking about the hardship of our country, trying to get whatever they want in their heart, their desire. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I think it's very important as a responsive House of Representatives to celebrate this young fellow. The lady, Ms. Ariola, at 24, he's a doctor, a medical doctor, At 24, Mr. Speaker, even me, as young as I am, I'm still struggling with my 2 feet standing to attain 2-2 in university. But that's Mr. Ariola sitting down there with 2-1 distinction in all of his courses. I think it's a very good one. And my other friend, physically challenged friend, who go against all barriers. That I said to the barriers that I will cross the barriers without even his challenges. And now see him there sitting down there. He has been called to bar, and very soon, with what Honorable Pajok said, it might be SAN of Nigeria. Kudos to both of you. Thank you very much for showing that great things can come out of this nation throughout of this hardship. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, again, I'm thanking the leader of the House. I'm thanking my other honorable young parliamentarians, like Honorable Dapolam. His voice is being heard through me, and our chairman sitting down here, Honorable Nena also. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for recognizing the young ones in the parliament. Thank you very much. I so submit.
I think, okay. Yes, Doctor, please. She will speak on behalf of our mothers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My fellow colleagues, I am Honorable Soragon Festus Omoni, representing the ever peaceful and united peaceful people of Ogbia Federal Constituency, Olebri Oil Well No. 1, Bayelsa State. I want to talk from the point of view as a mother. I want to congratulate my children, they are our children, for carrying this torch. We are the torch bearers for excellence, for perseverance. We know what you have passed through to come to this level. So I'm congratulating you. Keep on so that others like you will emulate you to know that all is not lost, especially for the physically challenged. I want to urge all of us here to celebrate the physically challenged more in making sure that we create an enabling environment for the physically challenged persons. They've been crying out that their bill is here to be passed, to be assented to by the president. Let us celebrate them more by making sure that public buildings accommodate the physically challenged. Look at how he came into the chamber today. We should redesign our buildings, public buildings, schools, to make sure that the physically challenged have access to better environments, facilities that will make movement easier for them. That's what I wanted to add. Thank you very much.
Honorable Lam, I don't know, you have been too particular, and so please, Honorable Lam, additional.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. My name remains Adedakpo Lam Adeshino. I represent the very good people of Ibadan, Southeast and Northeast Federal Constituency, and from Oyo State. Let me first and foremost appreciate the leader of the House for moving this motion on behalf of the Nigerian youth. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, let me say that apart from the issue of unemployment that is against the Nigerian youth, the other issue that Nigerian youth are seriously asking for is recognition. And this is what we are here to do today, which is what the leader of the House has put together in this motion. And let me also state clearly that my brother, who is physically challenged, is not asking for any pity from us. He's only asking for encouragement from all of us. Having said that, I'm excited about the third leg of the resolution of this motion, which states that we should establish by law a parliamentary honor award system for recognition of extraordinary achievement by Nigerians. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, let me say here today, there is also a young Nigerian by name Agogo Ajie. He's uneducated. He had never passed through the 4 walls of school of any institution in Nigeria. And he was able to design and fabricate a mini aircraft. Having said all of these things, Mr. Speaker, there are also a lot of Nigerians scattered all over the country who are doing very well in the vocation that they have picked. So I thank the leader of the House for moving this motion, and I thank members of the House for supporting this motion. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
So I think we'll have to adjourn this debate at this I think most of the contributors to the debate have spoken, the leader has spoken, and they say that although you have shattered the glass ceiling in your various endeavors, you still have to do more through dedication and discipline. I believe that you'll be able to bring this gift out for the benefit of humanity. So it is my prayer that this singular honor by the House of Representatives today, on behalf of the National Assembly, will spur you to even greater attainments in life. So I put the question. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, we'll now go back to the second business of the day, which is presentation of 4 bills. I now invite the clerk to read the short titles.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, Niger Delta Development Commission Act Amendment Bill 2017, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, Alteration Bill 2017, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, Alteration Bill 2017, first reading. Abuja Broadcasting Corporation Establishment Ex Altera Bill 2017, first reading.
Honorable members, The third business of the day's presentation report of the committees on finance, appropriations, aids, loans, and debt management, legislative budget and research, national planning, economic development, the 2018 to 2020 medium-term expenditure framework, MTEF, and fiscal strategy paper, standing in the name of Honorable Babangida Ibrahim. Honorable members will recall that the matter was referred to the committee on Wednesday, 22nd November 2017. The report is ready for presentation, and Honorable Ibrahim Babangida is now invited to present it.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Babangida Ibrahim, representing Malam Fashi, Kafur Federal Constituency. I'm from Katsina State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move that the House will receive the appropriation, debts, aids and loans, national planning and economic development, legislative research on 2018-2020 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder, Honorable Nana Ibukwe.
Thank you, my amiable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name remains Raphael Nana Ibukwe, and I represent the good people of Ayazo, Ezinite, Ise, Federal Constituency of Imo State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as moved by the Chairman's Committee of Finance, Honorable Babangida Ibrahim. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Babangida, please proceed and lay the report. Honorable members, the fourth business of the day is presentation of two reports of the Committee on Sports, standing in the name of Honorable Gonibukar Lawal. Honorable members will recall the bills were referred to the committee on Thursday, 23rd March 2017 and Thursday, 24th May 2017, respectively. Reports are ready for presentation, and Honorable Lawal is now invited to present them. In the absence of the chairman and his deputy, I understand that Honorable Dambaram Nuhu will present the reports on behalf of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Dambaram Abubakar Nuhu, representing Kano Municipal, the only gentleman from the municipality in the Hall of the Green Chambers. And I am from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I rise on behalf of the Committee of Sport to present this report before the committee, that the House do receive the report, Nigerian Football Association, NFL, Act Cap N110, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and to reenact the Nigerian Football Federation Act to provide for the administration of the game of football in Nigeria and other related matters. And that the second report that the House do receive, the report of the Committee on Sports on the bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Sports Anti-Doping Agency responsible for carrying on the functions of the Nigerian Anti-Doping Organization as enshrined in the World Anti-Doping Code in accordance with the various international standards and for other related matters. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I so move. Thank you.
Honorable Gadaka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I am Ismail Ahmed Gadaka, member representing the California Federal Constituency for Yoga State. I rise to second the motion heavily moved by my honorable colleague. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Dambaram, please proceed and lay the reports. Honorable members, the fifth business of the day is presentation report of committees on petroleum resources upstream and public procurement on the investigation into the $260 million contract awarded by the National Petroleum Investment Management Services, NAPIMS, standing in the name of Honorable Victor Nwokolo. Honorable members will recall the matter was referred to the committee on Wednesday, 24th February 2016. The report is ready for presentation. Honorable Nwokolo is now invited to present it.
Mr. Speaker, I move to step down this item on the order paper as Honorable Victor Nwokolo, I guess, is not around to present the report. I so move.
Item step down by leave of the House. Next order of the day, next business of the day, Honorable Member, is presentation or report of the Committee on Aid, Loans and Debt Management on the proposed external borrowing request for state governments under the 2016-2017 external borrowing rolling plan for Kaduna State, third batch, standing in the name of Honorable Adeyinka Ajayi. Honorable members will recall the request was referred to the committee on Tuesday, 6 June 2017. The report is ready for presentation. Honorable Ajayi is now invited to present it. Where's Honorable Ajayi?
Mr. Speaker.
So, I think he should be around.
He's absconded. Can you imagine the guy?
Please, where is Honorable Ajayi?
Mr. Speaker, I think I can do it on his behalf since I have a copy of the report.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay, Jeff. I represent the good people of Buruku, my dear colleagues. Stop shouting, stop interrupting. My dear colleagues, I'm from Benue State. I rise to move that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Aid, Loans and Debt Management on the proposed external borrowing request for state governments under the 2016-2017 external borrowing rolling plan of Kaduna State, third batch, referred on the 6th of June 2017. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I so move.
Seconder will be Honorable Ikara. Honorable Ikara is not on the floor. Honorable Ajayi, second now.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Adeyinka Ajayi. I represent the people of Odo of the Fellow and Peripheral local governments. Mr. Speaker, I'm from the state of Osun. I hereby second the motion that the House receive the report of the committee as moved by the Chairman, Rules and Business. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it. Please proceed and lay the report. I have an announcement here. Friends of Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara, we write to inform you that our friend and brother, His Excellency Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara, Speaker of the House of Representatives, will be 50 years old on December 26, 2017. In order to celebrate him, identify with him and his ideals, as his friends, we have decided to organize a charity football competition in his honor. You are therefore invited to attend the charity football competition event. Event is scheduled to take place as follows. Date Sunday, December 17, 2017. Venue, Mediterranean Recreational Center, 1141 Kwame Nkrumah Crescent, Asokoro, Abuja. Time, 3 p.m. prompt. Dress code, sportswear. accept, please, the assurances of our highest consideration. On behalf of the committee, announces Senator Philip Tanimo Aduda, Senate Minority Whip Chairman. First order of the day, honorable colleagues, is continuation of debate on the general principles of bill of an act to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation, total sum of 8,612,226,953,214 naira only, of which the sum of 446,458,654,074 naira only is for statutory transfers. The sum of 2,233,835,365,699 naira only is for debt services. The sum of 3,494,277,820,219 naira only is for 427,665,113,232 naira only is for contribution to the Development Fund for Capital Expenditure for the year ending 31st December 2018. Standing in the name of the House Leader, today is the fourth allotted day. I now invite the leader to move the debate and the second reading of the bill to continue. Debate on the bill to continue, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I rise to move that the debate on the budget and the authorization of monies, appropriation of monies, that the debate will continue, today being the third or fourth day and last day of the debate. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder, rules and business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay, Jeff. I represent the group people of Buruku Maria Police from Borno State. I rise to second the motion moved by the leader of the House. I so second.
I think we'll just follow the normal protocol by taking contribution from the list. Thankfully, we don't have many members who are willing to speak today, so we should be able to end it on time, assuming they are not taking too much time conversing their views on the budget. First on the list is Honorable Mohammed Sali Zoro.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My esteemed colleagues, I am Mohammed Sani Zoro. I represent Gagarawa, Sule, Megatari, and Gumel Federal Constituency, Jigawa State. My dear colleagues, let me seize this opportunity, first of all, to congratulate the executive branch of government, specifically the President of the Republic, for bringing or laying the budget before the end of the outgoing year. This is highly commendable, and it's an attempt actually to align the fiscal year with what used to be the case. I remember it was sometime in 2008 that then President Shehu Yar'Adua managed, Umar Musa Yar'Adua managed to present a similar budget on the 14th of December. Having said that, my dear colleagues, I've also noticed that in today's order paper, there is a presentation of the MTEP report by the relevant committees that have done so, that have worked on the MTEP. Now, this clearly indicates that the executive branch had actually placed the cat before the horse, because the MTEP, the analysis of the MTEP would have informed the presentation and consequent review, as well as analysis and input on the 2018 budget. And that is very wrong, and I'm happy that my colleagues have earlier pointed to this anomaly. Honorable Speaker, sir, you may wish to call the attention of the caucus here so that probably brevity will inform this presentation. Secondly, my dear colleagues, I am specifically worried about the modeling of the budget. By budget modeling here, I am talking specifically about the...
All the honorable colleagues, Honorable Jagaba, please disperse that caucus meeting. We are in the plenary.
Thank you very much for this intervention. Otherwise, our friends and colleagues, they are discussing issues of very mutual and pan-Nigerian interest. But I'm sure their silence will also add value to this. Thank you very much indeed. My esteemed colleagues, the modeling of the budget is of concern to me. And I say this because I have witnessed how budgets are initiated as a one-time assistant to the Honorable Minister of Finance, one-time assistant to Honorable Minister of National Planning, and at some other time I had the opportunity of serving as an assistant to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, the argument of civil servants everywhere, as well as chief executives of MDAs, is that budgets are based on key assumptions. These assumptions are supposed to be scientific in nature, but there is ample evidence also to show that these assumptions are non-scientific in their application in the Nigerian case. When you do a surgical appraisal of the budget, you will realize that in so many instances, it is just a repetition and duplication of the previous year's budget. In the case of the humanitarian sector, for instance, I give you an example. 45 billion naira was earmarked as the Northeast intervention funds, and it is the same this year. So what is the science that has informed the repetition of the same amount of money, committed in 2017 as well as 2018? Nothing scientific, actually. So probably there is a need for the very first time for Parliament to subject the budget actually to real surgery, even if it means turning it inside out to do the right thing. Because except we get it right, budget implementation from releases to performance will continue to be in the negative. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, my dear colleagues, I am concerned with the tendency to fund critical infrastructure from appropriation. I say it is wrong because the models that we have seen going on in China, in several West European countries, and even in Rwanda here, as well as several other African countries, you don't fund critical infrastructure from appropriation. And I can give you the list I was able to glean from the 2018 budget estimates. Take the federal roads, for instance, under the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing. Under the rehabilitation and maintenance of roads, the Lagos-Shagamu-Ibadan dual carriageway, section 1, is going to gulp 9 billion naira. Then the section 2 of it will gulp 11.5 billion naira. Total 20.5 billion naira. Then rehabilitation of Abuja, Kaduna, Zaria, Kano dual carriageway is going to swallow 13 billion. While the maintenance of the third mainland bridge in Lagos is also going to gulp 5 billion. Kano Maiduguri Road dualization, which section 1 of it will attract 2.5 billion, and then section 2, 3.5 billion. There is also the example of the proposed Kano Katsina dualization, under which 1.5 billion, under section 1 of which 1.5 billion naira has been earmarked. Then the second Niger bridge, 10 billion naira. You can remember the president even made the promise ever before the budget was laid by him. Then the dualization of Ibadan-Ilorin Road
is also going to attract 3 billion naira. Now, in the sphere of hydroelectric power projects, you take the Mambila project, maintain these roads, rehabilitate some, and dualize some of them. Now, my argument is that these roads, as part of our critical infrastructure requirements, can also be funded by concessioning them to civil construction companies such as Julius Berger that built some of these roads like Abuja Kano Road about 30 years ago. We don't need to waste this money.